I'm a legend in my own mind. The mic wrecker over degraded phone lines. I bring heat to the beef like I'm bovine. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm your boy Frankie Hovers of the world famous Flying Junkies. And today I'm joined by a special guest. He is 1/3 of the Core Culture podcast. I don't know which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that makes you. You're probably Splinter at the end of the day, you know.
Damn.
But you know.
Oh. I am the wise one. I am the wise one.
All honor aside, you know, we got to give you your flowers, show you some love. This man has dedicated a good portion of his life to hip hop culture and bringing that culture to the forefront. Today in studio, we have NOS, a.k.a. Noslin, a.k.a. Splinter of the Core Culture podcast.
Oh, yeah.
What's up?
What up? What up, everybody? Frankie, man, pleasure to be here. I love this shit. I was thinking about how it would ever be. I've been telling you for a minute, man. I've been saying it on, the podcast. Hey, I'm gonna shoot down. We're gonna make it to the WP, and then we're gonna do something in the stew. It's gonna be amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be amazing.
It is, and it finally happened, man. I know last time you were supposed to come in studio, the schedules got a little mixed up, and things happen: hurricanes, thunderstorms, tornadoes, and
when
hail.
When you're adulting.
Right, exactly.
Things happen.
It happens. But it's a pleasure to have you here now, man, in person. Sort of a last minute pull off, midweek we decided to get together, you know what I mean?
Really
we hit up the Publix earlier, made a quick meal, thugged it up. We had some amazing food. We saw some beautiful women out there, man.
Ooh.
Gorgeous women. But either way, on the ride back over, I had remembered that one of the last shows we were involved in, I had a topic that I had wanted to bring up. Due to time, couldn't get it in. It's typical, happens all the time.
Yeah.
So I figured we'd chat about it now. So let's jump into it real quick. I was playing some music for you earlier before we got in. I was playing some Pete Rock. So I wanted to talk about Mr. Pete Rock himself. I caught some news recently. The guy is going through a little drama on his Twitter page. He's kind of mouthing off a little bit, and it made me feel some type of way as a Pete Rock fan.
Yeah.
So give me your quick blurb. I want to know what you feel about Pete Rock, not necessarily about the controversy. We're going to touch on that. But if you could just, give me your opinion of Pete Rock. Do you think he is a dope MC, a dope producer? What are your thoughts?
I mean, overall, Pete made a huge impact in hip hop, and he still does, regardless. As an MC, he did really well. I mean, I'm not gonna take any of his accomplishments away, right? As a producer, he was bad as fuck. I'm talking about super dope. Just people are like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like a lot of his beats are classic that people still listen to now. People still sampling what he's done.
Legend in the sampling game. Probably one of the pioneer sort of founding fathers of certain arts, if you will.
Bro,
certain
down.
Dark arts. The dark arts of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so I was gonna bring up The Creator, that song, The Creator.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone, tuning in knows him from Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
Yeah.
As they reminisce over you, all the big pop songs that they had together. Big shout out CL Smooth, another amazing artist, sort of like hip hop's poet, one of the first people to sort of bring a poetry aspect to the mix. But Pete Rock, when he made The Creator, that song changed my life. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because I had just purchased an SP1200, and in the video he's producing on an SP1200.
Yeah.
And you can see that, it's a big part of the sound. You can hear that it's a big part of the sound, I don't know if it's because the video he was in a wooden boat and he's driving through like the harbor, and it's and he's rhyming, and it was just like the first time you've seen some shit like that. Most of the time these guys are on a corner, in front of a rusty building with, spray paint on it. Bodega shot,
exactly.
Shooting crap. So here's this guy on a fucking wooden boat, and the beat, bro, the bounce of that bass line, that boom, 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 boom. The Creator. That song is just such a game changer. It's such a sonic masterpiece to me.
Yeah.
And it marked one of the first times you saw a DJ spitting bars. It wasn't like some corny DJ. These DJs are like, I come from the club. I love that. They do this disco rap shit.
Yeah.
This guy was like coming with some decent bars. It was like, holy shit, we know you're a DJ producer. We're not expecting you to be the dopest MC ever, but this is fucking hard, So I always had an affinity for that song. Wanted to bring that up before we go in on Pete Rock. And the reason why I want to go in on him is because of his recent controversy.
Yeah.
I wrote some notes here. I'll read a couple of blurbs off for you real quick and then get your opinion on it. So I got here, Pete Rock, legendary hip hop producer, has been making news lately for all the wrong reasons. All right, so this first popped up on my radar when Pete Rock publicly called drill music doo-doo, right? For those not familiar, drill music is, what would you call it? Like more of a UK or British, we'll call it like a European sound, maybe more street.
I mean, it was made popular like in the UK.
Mhm.
Definitely a very street. It's almost like their it's like their version of our like our street hip hop, like our gangster hip hop for the streets.
Sure thing, yeah.
But all the beats are a little quicker. You know, you've got some higher RPM beats,
very slang oriented, right?
Yeah,
Lots of
everything.
European street slang, and
Yeah,
a
everything that's in
lot
it.
of gun violence, a lot of maybe drug dealer, gangster
So
sort of talk,
promoting the
right?
same shit that they do here in the States, it's the
And
exact same
have
thing.
been doing
Yeah.
in every genre of music. Arguably, rock does this. Every genre of music has their version of this, right? Hip hop, no exception, of course, right? And this is what brings me to this. Here we have Pete Rock, a legendary producer, rapper, DJ from an era where music was being viewed as maybe, particularly hip hop in general, being viewed as the devil's playground, right? You had Tippa Gore, Al Gore's wife, Dolores C. Tucker. All these people were like in Senate, in Congress, and they're all powerful leaders of the community trying to shut down hip hop, using Two Live Crew as an example, using Tupac as an example, Death Row, Snoop, and trying to put labels on every CD, which they were successful at. We now have a parental advisory sticker due to this.
I mean, it's good. It's fine.
So the reason I bring this up is because the argument here I'm trying to pose is that a rapper like Pete Rock, who made music for what you could argue was the drill music of its time, right? He made music for artists that were in those themes. Gangster theme. Now, sure, someone can argue with me, but CL Smooth was so sweet and loving and caring. He was like the ladies rapper almost. CL Smooth was like one of the first, the guys loved him, the girls loved him, the old ladies loved him. He's kind of like keeps it clean, he's in that same pocket as Heavy D, right?
Yeah.
So I found it a shock when I started reading about Pete Rock here, who got with the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, and started addressing the violent nature of drill music. It shocked me. I was like thrown back. He goes on to Twitter, and I'm going to read one of his quotes here. Drill rap. This is Pete Rock. This is a quote from Pete Rock. Drill rap. That's trash hop, not hip hop. I've been told y'all about this kind of shit, Rock wrote. I don't care. Call me what you want, but that kind of hip hop is doo-doo and it disrupts the soul. I told y'all that already. Man, LOL, shake my head. Nobody speaks up on this trash. He goes off. There's way more I'm going to read maybe a little later here, but I want to get your opinion on that. What do you think? My opinion of Pete Rock right now in reading this is he's like an old man that says, stay off my lawn. Turn your music down, you little shit. Knowing that when he was young, he was bumping fucking Elvis Presley, loud as hell and banging bitches in the basement, sort of a hypocrite, and there's a lot more controversy, but I want to get your thoughts on that. Give me your thoughts on him speaking out on Twitter and working with the government, you could argue, again, in silencing and censoring music.
So, few ways I'm going to look at this. The first one is he hating on a form of hip hop? If you base it on his tweets and what we can see, yeah, I'm disappointed in that. I think overall, as being one of the pioneers, you would want to let all forms of hip hop express themselves regardless, right? Because there has been violence in hip hop since forever, because that's all they've seen, right? You want to hear about what it is. It's because they're on the street. This is what they see every day. This is what they're living. It wasn't like they're making it up, right? This is the things that they're seeing. You got stories for days because every day of your life is this struggle. So the fact that he would want to take away from what this may add to the culture bugs me a little. Do I need to listen to this type of music? I don't. Because if it's something that I don't like, I just simply skip it, play what I want to listen to because it's my choice, right?
So let me jump in there real quick and tag team with you. What's your thoughts on drill? Is there anything in the drill universe that you've heard that you go, oh,
I mean,
it's kind of dope?
There's a few songs that the guys have. I haven't spent a lot of time listening to all of it.
Like,
but
there's the Skeptas, right? And
yeah,
you got
but
the
I mean,
Killer Peas
Skepta's like he's like one of the pioneers of that style, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He came in, and he's probably one of the bigger guys too. That's why everybody knows the name. Like you say it, and like people that don't even listen to the music know who it is.
Right? Yeah, he's the Michael Jackson of their. He's the. I don't know if that's a great analogy.
I don't know if that's the best analogy. Jeez.
He's the go-to guy. He's the poster child for it, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I found it interesting, man.
But here's the second part of this.
Yeah.
So the other part is, if you're going to work with government agencies for any push of anything you want to do, let's make it for something positive, like maybe allowing us to use more parks or more community centers to be able to put on shows.
Yeah.
And bring hip hop into the community and have everybody there. And everybody can try and make some money. Let the people that are in those cities, within those communities, cater it or be, it's all, small business, right?
That's a good point.
So then people get it. People will be able to take advantage of all the key pieces when it's used that way. But to take away from it, that's my disappointment.
It's very disappointing to me. I find he's, shouting, "Stay off my lawn," kind of coming from someone who backed that kind of, energy in the music business for many years. It disheartened me because I'm a huge Pete Rock fan. Again, as a producer and rapper myself, to watch somebody do it all, that was amazing. He was the Prince of our generation.
The multi-talented.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he could do a little bit of everything. Holy shit, Now, recently, he had some more controversy. Let's jump on... there's a little bit more he goes off on. He calls the drill music, what does he call it, man? I have it here somewhere. He goes off. He has this whole other paragraph. Check it out. It's still probably on Twitter, or you can Google it if you want. But me personally, I love the drill rap sound. I'm a big proponent of the UK hip hop scene.
Yeah.
It's one of the few places that keeps it real, keeps it alive, and is very innovative in their sound. Drill being a good example of it, we got to include in drill. Here's the other thing. In drill, you got a lot of this Yardie Boy island Caribbean thing going on, right? This African thing going on, right? And knowing that Pete Rock comes and descends from that, it's another thing that disheartens me, because this is, I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think about, have you ever heard of the group D Antwoord? Or as Americans call them, Die Antwoord.
UK hip hop, I'm always gonna go towards the Four Owls.
Okay.
They are extremely good. I know this because even DJ Premier made beats for them. So, but they also fall under the boom bap umbrella. That style of hip hop. Yeah. It's all about the lyricism.
Yeah, that's different. I mean, they're great at their boom bap shit, bro. Like, you can't
that right there.
See,
but
even Pete Rock,
the drill's still
even
new,
Pete
though.
Rock didn't shit on their boom bap artists. He didn't say, "Oh, there's stuff coming." He's specifically targeting that music and being backed by the government. It's kind of shocked me. So let's jump into the second controversy for Pete Rock.
All right, let's do it.
Him and Funkmaster Flex got into a recent radio beef, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I believe Pete Rock comes from the radio days. He was a DJ before he kind of got on. Obviously, Funkmaster Flex comes out a little bit after that whole Pete Rock, scene. Like in the midst of Pete Rock's height of his career, Funkmaster Flex becomes a big name in hip hop. So they come up alongside each other. They know a lot about each other's history.
Yeah.
So Funkmaster Flex recently got into some beef with, I believe it's Conway the Machine from Griselda, where Conway was saying that Funkmaster Flex is basically an old guy. He shouldn't be on the radio, and he shouldn't be the one in charge of playing hip hop music anymore. Wow. They need someone their age that knows their sound, which I, again, took offense to, because I'm like, excuse me, you guys are literally embodying our music.
Yeah.
You guys are going, hey, we're going to sound like something from the 90s. We're going to dress like something from the 90s, So I felt like there was a lot of this sort of beef going on in hip hop right now. I think because, we have this whole hardcore hip hop is back thing going on.
Yeah.
That a lot of people are like, at each other's ends. It's like back in the day where nobody wanted to work together. It was just all beef and beef and beef, you know? I think we're coming back to that now. So Funkmaster Flex goes on air and gives a 20-minute long rant. If you haven't heard it, I highly suggest sitting down with a cup of coffee and listening. It will blow your mind because Funkmaster Flex goes on air, and he's done this shit before to people, but he goes on air and he airs Pete Rock the fuck out. Yeah. Like, I found out that Pete Rock, apparently, this is allegedly, there's documents that say it happened, but I don't know. I'm just saying this is allegedly. Yeah. Pete Rock called the cops on CL Smooth while CL Smooth was in another country. He called the other country's cops to have him arrested. I totally forget the reason. It kind of slipped my mind and I didn't write it down, unfortunately, in my notes, but he called and got him arrested. This caused a big beef and basically them to split up, because we know that Pete Rock goes on later to do like Sprite commercials by himself and produce, you know, Onyx Records or something, you know? So I found that interesting that Funkmaster Flex started to shit all over Pete Rock and really air him out as basically a rat, someone who rats on his own people, right? Then he starts to talk about his anthology, his career in hip hop, and basically calls him a fraud and says that everything he produced was all features and it was all like secondhand shit, you know? And he tried to shit all over him, which, you know, I'm not trying to condone in any way what Funkmaster Flex is doing. I think that kind of shit is petty to go on air and air people out like that.
Yeah,
you know?
we should probably try and be a little bit more civilized about some of the comments, or at least petty. The way you handle it. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, it's so fucking hip hop to do that shit. You know what I mean? When you think about it, it's like, wait a minute, man, this is so fucking hip hop. It's the bringing back the whole hip hop beef. The way it was meant to be, where people were really rah-rah, show up at your fucking station, turn the seats upside down. You know what I mean? Not the internet Twitter beef shit that Pete Rock is engaging with the drill community with, you know? So I don't know. What? Give me some final thoughts maybe on Rock. Do you think, what would be a good solution to this? You know, I know you came up with some great ideas with the giving back in the park and, you know, in the shows.
Well, I mean, if he really feels that he has a firm base to stand on, well, then tell us why you feel
it's doo-doo. He said it's doo-doo.
Yeah.
It's doo-doo and it's soulless, bro. He sounds like Dolores C. Tucker and Al Gore's wife, Tipper Gore, when they were like, this music robs your soul. There's no Jesus in it anymore. You know what I mean? Right. And now we got to put a sticker on it. And then everybody went, well, what about Poison and Def Leppard? And those guys sing about cocaine, and how come they don't, you know,
exactly.
They're talking about running from the cops too. Oh, well, we'll put it out, you know. And then it became, everybody gets the sticker, fuck out of here. You know what I mean? It's now a law, you know, which then started, you know, you could argue censorship and things of that nature.
I mean, it creates tension across everything. You know, there's been issues with music in general, right? Because again, it needed to be regulated somehow. And then of course the government's going to get involved, because if they're like, if we're making money on this and we can make some laws that will ensure that, okay. And then boom, everything started to get into place. Come on.
Yeah. It's true. So you're saying it's a money ploy?
Of course.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because now they get added to a lobby group that gets to go to concerts and gets to review free music. So it's almost like a government benefit to be able to control music, because you'll get access to, wow, you know, you just reminded me of a story.
I mean, think about it. Like now in this very non-tangible era of music, whatever's out there, any type of right, whatever it is, whatever format, they can license all that shit.
This is so big. Now that you say this, bro, you had me remember this story. The Jonas Brothers, Adele, and Lady Gaga, and a few other big artists. I was reading this article that every year, they go to a pharmaceutical conference to perform, and it's paid for by the pharmaceutical industry, you know, and then it just made me think what you just said about, you know, it's bigger than that. There's got to be a deeper control to this. At this level, now you're dealing with pharmaceutical companies. They had on site with the pharmaceutical companies, there were government people there, government sponsored people. When you read the list of who's at this event, you know, and that the Jonas Brothers are performing for, and then you see them on TV hawking a medicine, or you see one of the Jonas Brothers like, I have diabetes and I use blah, blah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, whoa, this is a lot bigger. The engine's a lot bigger than we can fathom. Dude, look. To see Pete Rock fucking with a government agent and saying drill rap is doo-doo, it really just, it made me fall out of love with hip hop, man. I don't know, you know, it just did something to me, man.
I didn't fall out of love, but I feel disappointment because I
I just
thought
feel
that
like
one of the
he's-
forefathers would have
Ugh.
stepped up and been like, look, man, look, I don't listen to it, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But good
Yeah,
luck.
I mean,
Do
I
your
guess you're
thing.
entitled to your own
Yeah.
opinion, you know.
Because
I
at
guess.
the end of the day, I mean, just like me, I've said this 100 times on the show before, and I'll continue to say it now.
Yeah.
I don't like mobile mouth rap. I'm not into that genre of hip hop. Am I gonna hate on them for wanting to make it? No. But I also don't have to listen. I don't have to spend my money in that format. I give the culture backup with what I like in it. There's a lot of it.
Let me ask you this then. Would you say that drill music is a little more, I don't want to call it educated, but a little more intricate than mumble rap is?
I think that the drill that is done in the UK has lyrics versus just a bunch of guys and this weird stumbled mumble rap that, again, I'm not hating. I'm just saying it's like you can compare the two together,
Right.
and it's like kindergarten bars with the mumble, and then maybe like high school bars with your drill music.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
again, I'm not saying that either one of the genres are bad. It's not what I personally would waste my time on.
Yeah.
But again, for the people that do like it, and I'm talking to you, just relax. It's okay. I'm not upset, and I don't want you to be upset. I just want you to understand that like everybody has a choice on what you want to listen to, which is why they segregate everything and tell you, here are your choices. You don't like this, go do something else. You don't like this, here's more choices. And then at the end of the day, you've got like 100 different styles of whatever the hell you want. And somebody's either already remixed that or came up with that same music and then switched it to a different genre. And at the end of the day, music is universal across the board, and people complain that people are trying to continue to create different styles of it.
Yeah, they're different styles. And, I don't know. It's just disheartening to me because we're in this cancel culture right now.
The cancel culture shit is really dumb,
and it's just like, I feel like certain people can gain celebrity off of this, because part of the campaign that Mr. Rock and what's the mayor of New York's name? I don't live in New York, unfortunately, but Mayor Eric Adams and Pete Rock, what they're trying to effectively do is they're trying to create a way to ban the music, algorithmically ban it from existing on platforms. They want it to not show up on Twitter, not show up on Facebook. And that's what really got me rattled. It wasn't just like, okay, here's Pete Rock going, stay off my lawn, you little shits, It's like, whoa, why is a fucking legendary rapper like this backing something that would potentially erase his own fucking music from the internet when they find out, oh, you worked with a guy that raped a little girl. Oh, you did a R. Kelly remix. Oh, sorry, we're going to have to wipe your whole catalog. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't realize what the fuck he just signed up for, I think. I think he's in over his head. I think he feels like I'm fucking with the mayor. He probably has some Illuminati jailhouse shit where he did something back in the day, you know what I mean, and had to get somebody out of jail or whatever, and the Illuminati jumped in, mayor whoever, and he owes somebody a favor. So here's the mayor of New York using a face from hip-hop to destroy music. It just shocked the shit out of me, bro. We're in like a whole new era for
people
culture.
don't think that these things are affecting those who maybe have contributed the most, right? Because if you notice, like, all the people that are having issues are like the biggest contributors, but then some of the ones, and we don't have to name any names, but the ones that are even above that, I always feel like, what did they do that's different, right? You know what I mean? Like, how did they get to this level where they're at these events? Clearly.
Yeah.
When you're in business and you're making those kind of dollars, and they're in your local city, and you don't think that politicians and all these other government agencies are trying to do something about whatever it is that you're doing, and if they can somehow reach in and grab what they want, then that's what it's going to be. I mean, again, I'm not a political person, and I don't know how none of that shit works. I can only tell you that from the outside looking in, the conspiracy there is ridiculous.
It's the new world order. As you're speaking, I'm reminded of the hip hop police, which you've always heard used as a term, that there's this sort of group of agents who go around collecting dossiers on rappers in particular, just to, they have these lucrative careers shutting rappers down or anyone who's music business related. You could
do you think what happened to Bobby Shmurda was that exact same thing?
Wow, that's a great question. I do because we're in a social media age now, and a lot of his people were on social media, and he says it in his last interview I just saw with him and Ebro. He says a lot of my guys would come around the block and we'd have to check them. Why you showing that gun on Twitter? Why you da-da-da? Why you driving around with your money in your hand? And that's what was happening is they were realizing that there's a social media police. The hip hop police are watching. They see you with, your 9mm out, bragging about your gun or whatever, and you may not have shot anybody. You may not have committed a crime. You're gonna get looked at. Someone's gonna be like, yo, why is this kid over here, making hip hop records and flashing his gun around,
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think on some levels, Tekashi 6ix9ine, another great example.
Yeah, but the thing with Tekashi 6ix9ine was he got hemmed up no matter what, and he figured the best way to handle this is to, well, tell what happened, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that it's a snitch thing. Has it really affected his career as much as most people thought it would? If it was if it was in the 90s, he wouldn't be in music anymore. Now that it's the I don't know what to say. Our 2000s are legal. The 2000s are old enough to drink now,
right?
And people have made some different decisions.
Yeah.
Well, microphone.
People
People have made some different decisions. Yeah, people made some really weird decisions about what they will accept now, all the sensitivity and all this stuff, and they're like, well, what would you do if you were facing 20 years in jail, and if you snitched on this guy that was a part of your crew?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, people did whatever bid it was. Right now, it's like, yeah, I don't really want to go to jail, so yeah, that kid right there did it, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then they accept it, right? Like all these people, and then he even said it. He went on many shows talking about, he's like, what would you do? It's like, I gotta, take care of me.
Yeah.
And it's true. At the end of the day, what would you really do? You're going to look out for yourself. You're going to find the easiest path out of this without scarring yourself that much, right? Come as unscathed is the best word for this, right?
Especially because you're dealing with older people that were part of the industry. That's why I think there's this sort of hip hop police connotation behind it, because a lot of his mentors, a lot of his management, they were our age and older. They've been around. They're not his age. They didn't go, yo, I'm your best friend.
This
from high
isn't
school.
brand new, yeah.
Right. They've been there. So they've been watched for a long time. And here comes this new thing, that's an easy target. Because, not no disrespect to the man, 6ix9ine, but, look at how easy of a target he is. So easy that he's quick to rat and be whatever, right? So I don't know. It's a weird thing. What do you think of, was it Dipset, Jim Jones? Jim Jones was one of the first people to, I don't know if he coined the term hip hop police or if it was because he's associated with being a part of the hip hop police. I forget the two, but I know a lot of people.
That. Google.
I know a lot of people think he's a rat. No, a lot of people think he's a rat.
I just set off everybody's freaking.
Hey, Google.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. I don't know. Not my opinion. This is allegedly, but I know on the internet, a lot of people call him a rat, say that he's, a snitch, and they have little proof and evidences.
And of course,
it,
these are all again allegedly. Okay. Again, I'm talking to you.
See, like here we have 50 Cent says Jim Jones is a rat and a federal informant.
Yeah.
Snow Billy and New York rappers exposed Dipset Jim Jones. There's all these controversies on Jim Jones being this. And the funny thing is, I saw this video one time of Jim Jones backstage, right, and he's mixed in with a crowd of people. And in the video, they were circling the people they thought were the hip hop police.
Yeah.
Right. And they show these guys that they're blended in with the crowd. They came with the crew. They're part of the entourage. And all of a sudden they're reaching, pulling out guns, badges, and they start waving everybody to the ground. And it was one of the first times they were exposing. And it was it was almost like the video was saying, please identify these people. They are the hip hop police that we're finally figuring out who they were. And that to me was when Jim Jones shifted. He went from being the Dipset guys were running shit to all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, these guys might be a little shady. So I don't know, if you had an opinion on it or not, but
I mean,
hip hop police, bro.
Think about it like this. Think about it like this, okay? There will always be some format of regulating or moderating what all of us do, right? No matter what. Because what happens if you don't have any checks and balances on anything? We would all run wild and it would be the Wild West for real, right? But then people say, well, we're too restrained. No.
Yeah.
this is civilization going, hey, we got to have these rules if we all want to like stay alive. Because if not, what happens? They can militarize everything, and then what? We'll become a bunch of socialists or some communism shit or whatever the hell they want to do, right? No. Supposedly this is a democracy and we are free. Okay, great. I agree with that. We get decisions within the rules that are set. There is nothing that we do that is not somehow regulated, somehow.
So let me ask you this. Did you see the recent thing with, I think it's Crazy Bone or Busy Bone? Crazy Bone, he came out saying, you know, the Illuminati exists in the music industry and that there was a time in the late 90s where everyone sat down and had a meeting and they all unanimously agreed that hip hop needed to go from the Heavy D, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, Happy Go Lucky, everyone, Saturday, it's a Saturday. You know, it's a roller skating jam, right? We're going to go roller skating. Hip hop was happy at one point, you know?
Yeah.
People were dancing, jumping around, jump up and get down.
Very
you know?
early 90s,
and
if you guys were wondering.
Then it shifted and it turned into, Biggie comes out and he's rhyming about, you know, the streets. Wu-Tang comes out.
That's exactly what it is. Street rap.
NWA and I guess they were more 80s, but that whole gangster culture in California got embellished even more.
What birthed drill music?
There you go. Look at that. You know, what are the ramifications for an artist like, I want to say it was Crazy Bone, coming out and saying, you know, this is the truth. Do we take this for face value? Or is this guy just reaching for a movie script or a VH1 special?
Right, so I mean,
did we have a meeting in the 90s? Did we have a meeting in the 90s and them say, NOS, we need you to put more guns and violence in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's so weird.
So
right?
here's the thing, right? So let's.
Wow, diagrams, everyone.
So this is the whole thing, right? So let's say it's all right here.
Professor
like
NOS.
This is the world, and then you've got hip hop here, right? And then you got everyone else, right? So everyone else that is not a part of this little sector of the bigger piece, right, is always looking into what's happening here. If you don't think that people are constantly spying or checking or running analytical data on what hip hop or what it's done, I mean, okay. When you want to monetize something, what do they look at first?
Demographics. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Who's listening to this?
Who's
right?
listening to it? What ingredient do we
how
add
many
to
spins? How many spins are happening on this particular artist? Well, why? Okay, well, this particular guy spits street rap. He dresses like this. He's in this age bracket. You name it. And then, you know, you can market any of that stuff,
because
right?
I mean, remember, you know, there's a time, right? You know, it's just
so. Is the hip hop police out here with everyone else?
It's a reminisce thing, right? Because remember, there was a time where cross colors was a thing, which was a way for getting rid of gang violence, right? You had We're All in the Same Gang came out on the West Coast, right?
There was a lot of positivity.
Self-destruction.
There was a lot of positivity.
There was a lot of negativity too. I'm not trying to say it was all sunshine and roses. I'm just saying it seems like there was this conscious effort to where now a kid that picks up a pen and pad, Griselda, great example. Their whole thing is I got to rhyme about bricks and, you know, write brick on my brick. And it's like, you know, it's drugs, it's gun violence. I live that shit. We got a member in the group. He's the next 50 Cent because his face got blown off by a gun, you know. He's got nerve damage. And look, you know, this is the real thing, right? This is, you know, I come from a time in hip hop where a gangster rapper was appreciated. Don't get me wrong. But so was a sunshine rapper or a hippie rapper or a science rapper, can I bust cannabis, you know? Great example of a, you know, nonfiction, the group Nonfiction, Vinny Paz, you know, these conscious rappers. I don't know, you know what I mean? Fucking even PM Dawn could get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? There was a point there where you could do shit like that. It would blend in. Everybody was happy. You know, there was a purpose and a reason for the music. I feel like we've lost our way in that a little bit, you know?
I think everybody has their own take on all those versions. The whole point I was making about the whole circle is that no matter what anyone says or does, everyone's looking at everything, right? So it's all about where there's money to be made, and all these people are always going to have this, and why there's always going to be the shady deal to try and get money, and why a lot of these artists that are out there complain about man, I don't have anything. All I can show is this little bit of money that they gave me. Well, bro, I mean, you're signing it away. If you really want all the money, then you got to do it on your own.
That's
Well,
a good point too,
shit ton
because you're
harder.
dealing with contracts, at this point, right? Because you're talking this chart, you're talking about
Yeah,
how,
but we're not seeing. But okay, those big contracts again. Talking about money, they were millions of dollars back then. Now they're telling the guy, here, dude, I'll sign you for like 30K. That's your startup money. Here's what we're gonna pay.
You're talking now.
Yeah.
You're talking current
Here's
now.
What, yeah, here's what we're gonna give you for marketing. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, because here's the thing: every time a record comes out, it's $200,000. They have to spread that budget out. And what do you think? That's got to go to the radios. That's got to go on.
You're not getting
everything.
Any of that. As an artist, you're not seeing it.
And you're not going to see that money. You're not going to get any of those residuals on that, right?
Nope. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's different now too because as you're drawing the chart and you're talking about the outsiders who are looking into hip hop.
Yeah.
These are people like, let's say, McDonald's dealing with Kanye and handing him over a check to pull up in a futuristic, Elon Musk like vehicle or a Yeezy mobile and get a Happy Meal for his kids or whatever.
Because it's the whole influencer,
But think about it. There's
era or whatever.
The
for
influencer
that shit.
era, and you have this big conglomerate backing you, handing you this check, and then saying to you, "Hey, can you up the violence quotient?" And maybe in Kanye's situation, it wasn't violence, but it was like, "Hey, can you bring a little more can you dance a little, shuck and jive a little bit? Maybe wear those big boots, and you can cross promote." And back in the day,
can you
it
do
would have
some
been
Jesus records
to
for
someone
us?
to someone like Crazy Bone or Bone Thugs and Harmony. Maybe it was, instead of can you shuck and jive and do this, maybe it was, hey, can you put a couple of more gun bars in there? Can you put a little more? Talk about the bullets. Did anybody die recently? You guys want to write it? Hey, look at this bubble we have on the whiteboard. This is what's dope right now. People getting shot, drive-bys, because in the theaters right now we have the movie Juice and New Jack City, and you know what I mean? Like, maybe that was the pull back then, was someone was taking a big check and going, yeah, you know what? We will add this.
Because I mean, you can sell violence to anybody.
It's the truth. That's true. And sex sells.
All levels
That's
of
true.
it, right? It doesn't matter.
It's true. You could put it into anything. You're right about that. I mean,
because there could be violence in the sex too.
Look at the skit with Dave Chappelle and Wayne Brady. They took a wholesome guy like Wayne Brady and they made him super violent, and it was like the only thing you remember him for. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're right. Yeah. The violence is it's almost a necessary evil to sell music,
I mean, if you want the shock and awe, this is why they do it. If you've been in hip hop long enough to understand anything, it's all about the visuals and what that rep has, that persona that you have as the artist. Do I believe a lot of the artists that are out now, do they have personas? A lot of them do. 6ix9ine's probably the best one because, I mean, come on, the colorful hair, and then he went out and got the grill done,
face tattoos,
and then he just like went buck wild with the number 6ix9ine, and he had to just like, it was like his branding everywhere on his body and like everywhere he went.
And everybody copied and I mean,
of course,
don't get me wrong, he was copying to some degree too.
The face tattoo era of kids, I feel extremely bad for them, because any of those kids that did not make it, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And I'm talking to you.
Oh, and I'm going to tell you what. Think about the laser surgery it's going to take to get that shit etched off so you can make over $75,000 a year.
Bro, look at it like this. Look at it like this. What about if what could you imagine if like it doesn't come off all the way, but it just leaves that little like little cream color line from behind, you know what I'm saying? And the tattoo's still there, but it's like cream color.
Like what happened to Angelina Jolie with Billy Bob Thornton's that
exactly
tattoo.
That one piece.
It was still always there.
Yeah, like she couldn't get rid of it. So it's like, imagine
she ended
this guy's
up going over it with something.
Yeah,
you gotta go get another.
Let me make a sleeve and just cover it.
You got like asshole tatted here. Now you got to get it changed to like, grass grows or something positive.
Exactly.
Like.
So those are the things. So these are all choices these people make. Do I think that they're the best choice? Well, I don't know. What did you do with your life? Did you really make something out of it? Were you successful enough that when you're like, at retirement age, you don't have to go, I got to keep working, making music because
keep getting your tattoos touched up at 70.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what about, you bring up a good point. Little Xan is an example of that whole culture.
The ultimate crash and burn.
Right? There you go. Yeah.
The ultimate crash and burn.
Little Xan, the rapper who basically had a underground career bubble into an overground career, right? He got a little internet fame, tatted up his whole body, downed a bunch of Xanax, and then that's the last you ever heard of the guy. You know what I mean?
Again, another kid taken down by drugs that were all man-made.
Do you think man-made? Great point. Do you think these people are products of getting things too quickly? So as an example, in our time in the 90s, let's say, right, we're going back, we were talking about Pete Rock earlier, that whole 90s era, the same effort put into an artist today is going to yield you, would you argue, more money, more access, you know?
Now that everything is mostly digital, I think the process of delivering the message has become a little easier. But as far as what you have to do, it's all the same shit, right? Nothing's gonna change. You have to get the artist. You have to give him, you know, you got to build his persona. Who is he gonna be, right? Who's gonna be the style? What is he gonna say? What's his music about? When you take him on tour, where's he gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Who's the PR person? Oh, are they gonna do these pictures? All right, well, let's go do these branding. Blah blah blah. Everything is money driven. There is nothing that when a record label signs an artist, there is nothing that says we're going to guarantee you're going to do it. What they say is, we see something, we're going to dump some money into you, we'll give you some time. If that doesn't work, we get rid of you and we get the next best thing, right? And it's always been like that, and it's never going to change. And that's why I say a lot of the people that have made it, you know, on their own, a great example of that, Russ, okay? Dude out of Atlanta, amazing artist. He's like the Drake of Atlanta. All right, lyricist, and he can sing, and he put both those things together, and still sticks with the full, you know, again, that traditional hip hop style where it's all lyrical. And now he's doing big features with a lot of humongous stars that are out there. You know what I'm saying? And I keep thinking back, like, I remember when this dude was coming out and he was just putting like tracks out like every day or something like that for a while. You know what I mean? Just like on his SoundCloud or some shit like that. And then look at him now.
Yeah,
he's selling out, you know, huge arenas.
And you don't hear nothing on the radio.
No, nothing at all. Like, I don't hear it on the radio. I hear his music on everything that's streaming, right?
So that's a great
it's all digital
comparison to bring up.
Yeah.
Earlier you were saying, you know, it's the same as it always was, right? And here's where I can maybe counter that argument, right? Access. Because as you brought up Russ and as I brought up Little Xan, it made me think of artists who maybe have too much access, too easy, too fast, to some people's benefit, like Russ, you know, to some people's detriment, like Little Xan. Because I know myself, I have touched artists so much easier, say, past 2005 than I ever was pre-2005. And I was in the game pushing hard, fucking with big record labels, big radio stations, huge entertainment conglomerates, and couldn't get to the president, couldn't get to the CEO, couldn't get to a rapper on the label. Yeah. Impossible to get. You had to go to a meet and greet. You had to meet him at Jack the Rapper convention. You had to, you know, travel 4 hour, 8 hour, 10 hours to go to Atlanta just to meet the guy, you know. Now a guy like Russ can, you know, reach out to Russell Simmons and at him on his latest project, which was easy to produce, arguably, because back in the 90s, you would have needed, like you said earlier, $100,000 budget or whatever it was to get the video done. We were talking about the prices, you know, $200,000, you said, just to get shit going. Imagine what, you know,
it costs that now too, though.
You know,
it costs that now too. What I mean by the process is still the same, is that all easier. The thing that I'm saying is that the access has always been there. Like, I don't know. There's never been a time that you can't say that every artist that's ever come into this thing and said, hey, I want you to go get me some pot, or I want you to go get me some Coke, or I want you to go get me something.
Not that kind of access.
And there wasn't I'm just saying, not all the access that there was. Was there access to people, collaborations and things?
You know,
of course, when the record labels did it for you. But that I can like sit there and tweet at, let's say, Method Man today, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tweet at Method Man because I just want to tell him, hey, I was listening to this track you did the other day. I think it's amazing. Boom, I can do that. Do I actually have access to him, though? No, I don't.
Right.
I'm
you don't. However,
I could be tweeting out a bot.
However, there's a high probability that his team got eyes on that, whether it was him or his assistant, you know, whether it was just for them to delete the message or to ignore it, or you know, a little bell rings and maybe they have it already set to
You
mute.
think
I don't know.
you think they're
But
like screening the tweets?
I do. Oh yeah, I think a lot of these guys have a guy that, you know,
The
that
tweet screener.
yeah, bro. I think a lot of them do. They have to, bro. You know
Could
what I
you
mean?
imagine he's like this all day?
Yep,
This is his
yep.
job. No, that's a shitty tweet. Don't want that one. Sorry.
Well, can you approve this, Mr. Method Man? You know, yep, he's
Yeah.
got a guy. You know, great example of Method Man was recently he got on this kid that on Twitter.
Yeah.
The kid's Twitter, I forget his Twitter handle, but his whole niche is that he removes the beards off of celebrities in photos.
Yeah,
so he'll go and
that's his deal.
so
yeah.
he did that to Method Man.
Yeah.
Method Man got pissed and went on a fucking Twitter tirade. All you got to do is take it down today. Almost on some like your life depends on this.
Yeah,
you have to take it down today kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by the access. You know, if you poke that bear enough in today's market, you only have to do 2 or 3 pokes. In those older days, I think it had to, you know, like I heard Scott Storch on Drink Champs recently.
Yeah.
He said, Eve from Rough Riders is the one that got him hooked up with Dr. Dre. And in his story, he said, Eve said, I'm going to get you a meeting with Dr. Dre. Be at this hotel at this time. He's going to see you, right? Which was the Scott Storch's way of putting it was like, this was a arm and a leg she's pulling. She's pulling a major. This was not just, let me tweet him. Let me tweet Dr. Dre and at him on my YouTube page. Yeah. This is before all of that shit. He said he had to wait in the lobby 5 hours with a CD in his hand just for Dr. Dre to come out and give him 2 minutes of his time. And Dr. Dre said, you know what? I don't want to hear your fucking CD. There's a keyboard, a piano right here in the lobby of this beautiful hotel. Play me something. You're supposed to be this badass player. And he said he came up with the chords for all those hits right there. He did 3 things that Dre was like, those are the songs we're going to record. I want you in the studio. That's the difference, in my opinion, between, you know, today's artists who can just at the label, you know, and hit their Twitter page and boom, you know, now they're
so it's again, it's the divide between the tangible and the intangible. All right. I'm just saying.
Break it down. Tangible and intangible.
So you can
what's intangible about it?
All right. The intangible side is I'm tweeting you on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm using a medium that has no contact.
Right,
when I'm making that meeting and I sat there for 5 hours with my CD in my hand, right? Like Storch, right? And I'm like, holy shit, here it is. All right, now it's time, right? Oh, and then Dre walks in and says, okay, you can play, show me.
Right.
That's the tangible side that I'm grabbing a piano, I'm showing you I'm a true artist and I can play anything that you want. That's tangible,
for sure.
So that's my point. Like they can be there and see him literally doing it. If I tell him on Twitter, hey, I know how to play the piano, who gives a fuck?
Now there's 1,000 Scott Storch. Right, it's going to be harder. But at the same time, I think, you know, if you are a Scott Storch level artist, you know, you're tickling
put me
the
on
backbone.
the spot. Let me show you what I can do, and then later
shit
you
don't
can
work
tell
like
me,
that no
you know
more,
what I'm
though.
saying?
You know, shit don't work like that no more.
You know, I think
these guys are getting McDonald's deals, bro, based on what they put on their on TikTok.
Well, I mean,
you know?
Look, how about this? How about just artists in general, right? Like somebody comes out, they're doing like something out in the open, right, anywhere, and they're just playing. An artist happens to come by and check them out and see what they're doing. You don't know. Again, those like chance encounters are things that people dream about, right? That they'll run into the artist in the wild. The artist will see them doing their craft and be like, "Yo, that shit is dope, man. We should work together." You know,
like here's but again, not to cut you off, but here's an example. A lot of how Drake, his production, when you see a lot of the artists that Drake has used for production, they were all found via Twitter or found because of, you know, Timbaland has a website where they get to post their beats every day. You know what I mean? That kind of shit didn't exist when I was making music in the early to late, you know, 90s. It wasn't that simple. You know?
Okay.
Like I had to give a demo tape to somebody and hope to God that they would listen to it. Not they put it on a website where millions of people could judge it, give me honest fucking feedback. Like we used to go to rapper conventions. Jack the Rapper was a known one that we went to every year because we wanted to be in line with our CD, just to hear some guy that we don't even fucking know that claims he's an A&R go, you know what, your intro's weak, your bars are dope, your beat sucks, you know what I mean? You're use the girl again. He's the best in your group. Next, you know, $500 later and 3 days at a hotel, you know, shitty hotel in Atlanta or Orlando.
But, I mean,
whatever,
I think every
sorry, I'm just like, ah!
Yeah. But I think every artist in his own right goes through some kind of struggle, right? That they have to get there and find you know, whatever in they get into the game, right? Do I think that it was a lot harder back then? Yes, because we were not connected by the internet in that time. At least not in the early half of it, right?
Right.
Later on, like 94 and on, to all the AOL HUDs out there, what up, man?
You got mail.
Yeah. So if you remember back then, that was like the OG internet. And I remember getting on there and like talking to my friends like from school. I told them, yo, you got that free disc.
AOL Instant Messenger.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So like all my friends, and then that's how we communicated back then on our shitty ass fucking dial up internet.
Classic shit.
The 56K
CompuServe.
You know what I'm saying? I had that 56K baby.
Yeah, boy, 56K board. It's going down.
But
if you were broke, you had the 24K. Yeah, you couldn't afford the 55K.
Yeah. So my whole point is that like, a lot of the same processes are there. Like the root of what needs to be done is still the same. Do I think that the pieces that you're bringing as far as contact and how they're easier in that aspect? 100%. I mean, there's always going to be that, because I don't think that
that's true.
In a world that is becoming more and more digital, that we're not going to be able to have. I mean, all right, here, good example.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's gonna more
like a good thing is like what Chris Brown's like. Okay, people want to hang out with me. You want to see Chris Brown? Okay, here, come take these pictures with me. Okay, how much is the $500?
Right.
You want to take a picture with me? I'll do whatever. You can touch me. I'll hug you. You want to do
that? Whoa,
$500, right?
Did you go? Did you go, Noslin? Did you go, bro? 500 is pretty good, man. It's a good price. You get to squeeze up on see you can run it.
I'm gonna
It's your man on the floor.
I'm gonna just look, I'm gonna just walk away from that comment because it was just weird.
It wasn't worth $500. I feel you.
It definitely wasn't. But my whole point is that like if people want to do this or see it and say like, hey, look, I got this memory, and again, every form of like money or any stream that you can create for yourself, no matter what it is. And now I think that's the biggest thing that's changed in any artist that's out, right? The ability for you to have these multiple streams now, because now you can make money with YouTube. You can make money with each of the individual streaming services of your choice that allow you to be there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's a valid point.
You can make money from doing your touring. You can make money from your merchandise. So when you start to look at it, the number of streams of money has multiplied versus what you used to have before. Before it was like either you sold the music, hard copies, or you went on tour.
You relied more on a big label to handle that for you. You wouldn't, like now an artist will merch on YouTube. They'll go, hey, grab a Flying Junkie shirt, and at the bottom of the video, you see 5 different versions of the shirt. You click, you got a shirt delivered to you by tomorrow. In the older days, you would have to go, let's go get some Core Culture podcast shirts made. All right, how many? Well, our demographic says we got 10,000 listeners, so let's make 10,000 shirts, and then before you know, you're $25,000 in the hole. You got shirts getting eaten by moths, and then you're sitting on product for the next 10 years that you can't get rid of, So I agree with you there. It's a little easier now to, manufacture your own self-worth, if you will, without having to rely on, a bigger label.
But I think a lot of the guys that do it independently. Yeah. Shout out to I gotta talk about this. I almost forgot. Shout out to K3 tomorrow. Sunday at 1 p.m. on the Core Culture Podcast. So zerochillmedia.com/live. Tune in for the K3 piece, which this isn't a guy that's doing it independently. And it's like getting into that piece, like what took you to get there? Like, what have you been doing? Right. And everybody has, a bunch of cool shit, but you just never know,
like as an example, right. We were talking earlier about the access, right. And how easy it is to get to people. Have you seen the Kanye West, what's it called? Genius documentary.
Oh, Genius. Yeah.
So
it's fucking dope.
In that, there's a great scene where he's running from A&R to A&R's office, and he's walking in, and he's trying to force the music on them. They're on the phone. They're like, what do you want, Kanye? What? And he's like, no, look, you got to hear my new shit. And he puts it on the radio while they're on the phone, and they get upset. And they're like, leave me alone, And then one of them goes, I like that. That's pretty dope. And, that's what I mean by the access. Like, to be able to do that in those days, you had to be at the office every day. Hope to God that somebody liked you enough to let you in so that you could walk around and walk into people's offices.
Can we bring that back? Is that okay? Can we bring back you got to go to the office and bring your demo in?
Hey, bring it back. I'm with it, bro.
Remember, you know what it would do? There would be this line. around every record label every day. These kids, you know, they're bringing their
Pete
whatever.
Rock is going to show up
But here's the
with the mayor of New York.
picket signs and all.
Yeah. Shut this shit down right now. You know what I mean? Yep. It's all good. Big shout out to my New York niggas.
We have no
Pete
chill
Rock.
for the drill.
You just came up with the what's that? Not the slang. What am I trying to say? The mantra.
Yeah, the mantra.
For their whole.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
No chill for the drill.
Oh man. Well, you know what? We're about a few minutes off from the 1 hour mark here. So let's get some closing remarks on the drill community. Any last shout outs for the drill community?
All right, listen, to all the drill heads, and I'm talking to you. I think it's awesome. Just keep going. It doesn't matter that I don't listen to your music. I'm not your core demographic or whatever it is that you're looking for, right? Mm-hmm. I'll say this. I appreciate the fact that you're being creative and continuing to add to hip hop. So do your thing. I just probably won't listen. Sorry, guys.
And let me add to that I personally am a silent fan. I'm not someone that has a certain artist that I go for, but I really love the sound of drill. It has a certain, to me, they've taken what trap was and all these other things that are, you know, can be subpar and sort of canned and cliche-ish, and they created something that you could argue is new. And I think that's what's rattling people's bones about it, is it's very new. It's making a shit ton of money, and it's scary as fuck, man. You know, it reminds me of us when Onyx first came out. Yep. You know, and then people, you know, they were like, throw your guns in the air, and people were going ape shit over it. And then they did a remix with Anthrax, and it was heavy metal, and people went ape shit over that. You know, So you know, big shout out to the drill community, all my UK heads. Killer P, he was on the Cat Control Radio podcast back in the day with us, man. So I got some fam out there in UK. Big shout out my homie London Fog, LD holding it down. All my people out in Essex holding it down. Oh, you Sussex motherfuckers. I got Chipotle and Starbucks and shit. Lucky bastards. And let's see, who else did we talk about today, man? We spoke on Pete Rock, right? Oh, Funk Master Flex.
Yeah, Flex.
What's your thoughts on that? Any closing words for Flex?
My final words for the Flex.
One final words for the Flex.
All right, bro. Weird Flex. Talking shit about people live on your show.
That is weird Flex. That's it right there. I couldn't say it any better, man. I'm a big fan of Funk Master Flex. You know, he's got a side to him that can be annoying, but that's a hip hop thing, I think. Remember those Domino's pizza commercial, the Noid, you know?
Yeah.
The Noid is hip hop. He's so hip hop, you know.
Yeah.
It ain't funny. But either way, man, I think we're going to sign it out here. Big shout out to Griselda. We gave them a little drop on this one. We got to shout out our homie, bro. Yo, Ani, we're going to get you in on the next one, man.
You missed it, bro. You missed it again.
Yeah, it's all good. We're going to get you in, man. We're going to display some of your paintings in the back. We'll get some
bring
dope.
The paintings with you.
Yeah, we'll hang some stuff in the back,
in this
you know
little section right
here. We're going to get a live nude model so we could do body painting. You know, we'll just have you do we'll start maybe.
Yeah, like while we're doing the show, and then every once in a while we'll just pan over.
And you'll be painting, you know, a boob or something. You know, no big deal.
There it is. No big deal.
What it is, man. Yeah. But either way, big shout out, Yoani, Core Culture Podcast. Tell them where they can find you guys, where they can find us.
All right, check it out. You can check out the podcast at Zero C Media on Instagram. Go to Facebook and Twitter. It's Core Culture Pod. And anywhere that has streaming of podcasts or YouTube, it's the Core Culture Podcast. And of course, you can check me at The Real Noslin everywhere.
That's right. Check the man out. He is he's one of the premier hip hop podcasters, sort of an untapped resource. I think if you go back and listen to a lot of the older shows, you'll be very impressed. He has a lot of, there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of great debates on what hip hop is and what it means to him and many other of his guests. I was blessed recently to be added to the show. I am a co-host at the Core Culture Podcast. My name is Frankie Hovers. I am also down with the world famous Flying Junkies. You can catch us at Flying Junkies everywhere. Peace and blessings. I'm out of here. One love, my brother. Thanks for coming through.
Peace, bro.
Yep. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I did it with the left hand.
Hell yeah, bro. One love, man.
Good show. All right, peoples. Peace. We out.
Peace.
I'm a legend in my own mind. The mic wrecker over degraded phone lines. I bring heat to the beef like I'm bovine. In no time.